Hello,
No.
we're live.
Hello.
Here we are.
Hi.
It's Meg.
Hi.
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
How are you?
It's still loading on. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, it says streaming live on Facebook on mine.
Okay, now I see it. Now I see it. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Here I am. 11 surgeries under my belt. 11. That was my 11th one.
Are you relieved that it's over, or are you just like,
Um, yeah,
why
I
did it
mean,
have to
I'm
happen
relieved.
anyway?
Like the worst of it is over, but it's
Yeah.
so it was like not as bad as having the mastectomy, but not as easy as just having a boob job. It was like in between there somewhere. Like it still hurts, and it's been what, three
Oh,
weeks. So I'm like, why is this still hurting? Like I would think by now, like I'm not
yeah.
allowed to lift my arms higher than that. I can't lift 10 pounds. It's a lot of weird restrictions, but I'm trying. I'm trying to be good.
Yeah. How long does it say the recovery will be like
Six.
you
Six
can?
weeks. So I'm like
That's
halfway there. So yeah, I feel pretty good. It's just this one for some reason was a little harder for me, like mentally. I don't know why. Just I don't know. I don't know why. I think I'm so tired of my body not working the way it's supposed to. So like
yeah.
that just was like underlying thing. I feel like resentful to my own body. Like my body's letting me down, but I don't
That
know.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I'm super happy with the way they look. The contracture obviously is gone now, so that pain is gone.
Mhm.
And yeah, we just do our thing now. And then so I had my recheck, and the doctor's like, so if you start seeing the contracture coming back, and I'm looking at her like, wait, what? Like it's gonna like it's gonna come back? Do you think it's gonna come back? And she's like, some people's tissue just heals that way, and it ends up, and I'm like, I don't even talk to me like that right now. Like it's too
Yeah.
soon, it's too soon.
Yeah.
I can't. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm hoping. I hope it's not the case. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so either. I mean, I
I don't
have.
know how many times I'd go through it, honestly. Just I know I've said like I can't not have boobs. It just doesn't work for me mentally to look at my body and see that missing. But if it keeps happening, I might have to rethink that whole, you
Yeah.
know, stance
Well,
because
hopefully it just won't happen.
yeah,
And then
because
you
they're
won't have to deal
above
with
the
it.
muscle this time, which it should be better.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I don't think I did anything wrong on the healing last time. I did not listen to the doctor at all, but that's typical for me to just
Yeah.
do what I want and go, get on with life sooner than they say and all that stuff. But I'm trying to be good. I'm trying. Life goes
Good. Be
on. Life goes on, and
good.
I've got a kiddo that is
Yeah.
dependent on me to survive. And there are days when no one's here to help and I've got to do stuff. And so we're trying really to minimize that as much as possible, just so I have all the healing time I can. So,
Yes.
but what else is new? Summer's coming.
Yeah. I'm not excited. It's already so hot. I hate it.
And here it's been cold. I mean, look, I have a sweater on.
Yeah.
It was like 65 today, and we had some hot and then it got cold again. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but I keep hearing that we're all in for a long hot summer, like the
Ugh.
whole nation.
I just don't do well in the heat. I never have, but like now I feel like, I'm like a big girl. I don't do well.
Well, and it's so much more humid where you are now. So
Yes.
that makes it intolerable, I think, that
We
humidity.
were
Like,
at a barbecue today and I was just like sweating a little bit the whole time. But you know that feeling you just feel so gross and you're like, oh, I hate it.
yeah.
But we're having a niece. So
Oh,
Miranda's brother, they're having their third baby
yeah.
and they found out the gender
Oh,
Wednesday. It's a girl. So they have one boy, one girl, and now another girl.
oh, how sweet.
Yeah,
Oh, I
we're
am
excited.
waiting. I cannot wait. I keep saying this, but One of the guys at work just had a baby and they brought her in the other day and I wasn't there and I was so bummed just to get that little
Oh,
baby fixed. And it's so weird because I did not like when I had babies, I was like, it was so different. My mindset was so different. But now that I'm like waiting to be a grandma, I don't know. I don't know. We were down there today at the kids' house. They're doing their backyard, like redoing it. And so
uh-huh.
it's just kind of funny to watch those first time homeowner things, like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember that stuff. But I don't know. I think he's going to be at it all weekend because it was a big project. I don't think he
Yeah.
knew how much he bit off, but I don't know.
Okay.
So what is going on? I just did finish my edits for Shepherd's book, which is super exciting, and writing the last one of the Bombshell. So then I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Amazing.
going to do after that. I mean, I always have ideas, but I just don't know
Yeah.
what direction I'm going to go in. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Aw,
see.
Shell says being a grandma is the best. Getting a great granddaughter in July. Wow, congratulations.
Oh my gosh. How the heck?
Oh.
I mean, Shell, you're not even that old. What the hell? How do you have great grandkids? They're having them young. Yeah. So, man, I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. And that poor kid is going to be so spoiled. It's not even
I
funny.
can't wait to see you being a grandma, spoiling the heck out of the baby. I can't wait to see how beautiful the baby is. So I'm excited
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. It's going to be good, but first they need to get married. So we'll
Yeah.
wait. We're waiting. And
Shell said, LOL, I was a 16-year-old mom.
yeah. Yeah. Start early. I knew a gal in high school when we were 16 had a baby, and then that baby had a baby when she was 16. So they were young, like she was a grandma, when she was what, 32, and then a great grandma 16 years after that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I think had my second baby, like of my own, but there's something to be said for getting it out of the way young. 'Cause you're super
Yeah.
young and you get to see all those generations, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't have kids, but sometimes Miranda and I will talk about it like, well, maybe we can adopt one day. And then I think, well, I'm almost 37. And then by the time we want to do that, I'll be like 40. And I don't know, like, would it be, would I even have the energy to do something like that? I don't know.
yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily have to adopt a brand new baby,
That's true.
but
Yeah, I think I just always think of it as like, oh, a little baby, but you're right. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be a baby.
yeah. But no matter what, parenting takes a lot of energy and it's hard. I mean, it's still hard now, and my kids are 26, no, 27 and 24, like every day is hard with parenting still, but I don't know. I like it. It's one of the best things in my life. So,
Christina said she's 34. When she was a kid, she had great great grandparents alive. Wow, yeah, my mom had me when she was 18. My nana became a nana at 37, I believe, which is weird because I'm almost 37, so I cannot imagine having a
yeah,
grandchild.
yeah,
But I was really lucky I had them, you
all in
know,
your life.
yeah, all of my life I had, and they're still there, so I'm
Yeah.
lucky. Okay, but it's getting late. The author is in the chat. I will introduce her. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
My printer is not working, so I have to use my iPad. I'm just such like a nerd about I have to have the paper in front of me. So let's get my iPad up. Okay. Making the jump from corporate lawyer to author was a leap of faith that tonight's New York Times, #1 Wall Street Journal, and USA Today bestselling author will never regret. With over 40 titles published, she has sold millions of books in over a dozen languages to fellow readers around the world. She's a creative artist, a divine adventurer, a force of nature, a race car driver, a visionary, and a philosopher. She loves to inspire people around the world to believe in themselves and chase their dreams. A nomad at heart, she can be found on the edge of a canyon in the forgotten wilds of the Northwest, living happily ever after with her real-life hero and soulmate. She loves to connect with her readers and fans in Rebels and Runaways, her 100% positive and uplifting community and digital home. Please welcome Meghan March.
Ah, Megan March.
I try to like plan it so I can press it before I say their
Yeah.
name, but I get to like I can't do it, so now we have to wait. Sorry. Is
I
that?
love the build up.
Yeah.
Start video.
There you are. You're coming. There you are. Hello. Hi.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful.
It's so
Thank you.
nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm honored.
My pleasure. Wow, you have so many things in your bio. I'm like, I'm going to start with the race car driver thing because I too am a driver and I love talking cars with anybody. So, what's your jam? What are you into?
So we got into driving on the track a couple years ago. My dad was a race car driver. He was actually a rally car driver for
Oh,
like,
awesome.
yeah, so I was raised by a race car driver, and
Awesome.
with rally, everything is a race. Um,
Yeah.
every road.
Yeah, every
So
road, every trip, sure.
yep. So I drive a Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Nice.
She's a track monster. Her name's
Yeah,
Lady in Red, and it's a blast. I have so much
nice.
fun. We haven't taken the plunge to doing actual races yet,
Yeah,
just because I'm actually not competitive at all.
yeah.
But I love to go fast, and I love to get out there on the track and just tear it up.
It's so funny because I'm like a BMW girl. I just got a M8 comp
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, it's a monster. The thing, it's ridiculous, but it's going to get me in big trouble with the law, I'm afraid, but I'm trying to be very good. But I had an M4 before that and took that to the track and what a fun time.
Oh, you're so present, right? Like
Yeah,
all that matters. The thing I think I love most about the track is the only thing that matters is the next corner. It
right,
doesn't, nothing else in life matters. The next corner, that's it. The
right,
next corner,
right.
that's it. And it's so focusing and present. It's,
And just being so connected to the experience. And I you know, I've just there are people that have cars and then there's drivers, it's like a whole different like experience. And yeah, and my son is super into it too. And so we have a lot of fun. He had a Z4 all, done for the track. It was no longer road safe but
Mhm.
that has been retired now. So he
Oh, my husband and I actually have matching our like 911, the GT3 RSs. We got the same year. His is silver, mine is red. And I will tell you, that has been an amazing thing for our marriage.
yeah.
Because like there's sometimes I'm like, oh, I could totally pass him. I could
Yeah.
totally pass him. I could take you right now.
It's so funny. We just got matching too, but his is not the same. If they're matching colors, because we ordered them from, the factory in Germany, and I got this Isle of Man green, and it's this incredible color. And then he got a X5 comp, so he has like the SUV, but
Mhm.
it's all tricked out, and they're matching green. So, it's just so funny. So when we're at work and they're parked side by side, and this guy drove by one day and he's like, he puts down his window, he's like, that is such a flex. And we're like, oh, that's just so funny. Yeah, working hard, dude.
Dude, I love BMWs too. That's my grocery getter is an X6M.
Oh
That's
yeah.
she's like over 700 horse. I have
Yeah.
more cars than I know what to do with, to be honest. It's a good thing I don't
Yeah.
have kids because yeah, my cars always need something.
Yeah.
But I love the ultimate driving machine. They
Yeah.
don't lie about that.
I think I drove a X6 on the track. We went to the track, they bring their whole M fleet, and that year the X6 just came out and it was a surprise. It
It
was
was
a surprise what that thing could do.
oh, that's so rad. Yeah, I don't like to go slow. Like if I'm driving, I don't mind big four-wheel drives and stuff, and I'm gonna go slow, I'll go slow, that's fine. But if I'm in a
Right.
car or an SUV, like my mom even would turn the air conditioning off at the stoplight to beat somebody, right? Like I was raised, this comes
I
in,
need all the power.
yeah. But you know what's so cool about driving the RS on the track? You don't have to turn the air conditioning off, so you don't even have to sweat. I was like,
Nice.
it's amazing. Actually, there was a track day today and I didn't go, but it's such a good feeling. We put as many days on as we could.
Yeah,
So
it's
super
fun.
fun. Super fun.
Nothing beats that thrill. So, but I guess we should have to talk about books, right?
Oh, oh yeah, books too.
Books, books.
God bless books, they pay for cars.
Right? Oh my gosh. So tell me, like, I don't know. I probably have books of yours somewhere, either on my Kindle or my audiobook or whatever, but tell me about like what's your jam? What do you write? What genre? What you working on now?
So I started in romance, and probably more, the deliciously decadently dirty, more erotic romance. A lot of my earlier books, I have 39 books that I would say are pretty spicy. The Beneath series is one of the fan favorites, set in New Orleans. I love setting books in New Orleans for whatever reason. Those are awesome. The Ruthless King Mount trilogy was quite a cult classic. We had a lot of fun with trilogies for a while. So I did 4 trilogies back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And then I decided I needed a little break. So
Are they the same world or are they separate, complete separate trilogies?
there's a couple of them that are in the same world. The Mount trilogy and the Savage trilogy kind of follow up the Beneath series. So they're both set in New Orleans. And you kind of have a lot of crossover characters. That's one of my most favorite things to do.
Right.
Is
Yes.
I love, you know how when your characters are like your friends and you just aren't ready to
Yeah.
say goodbye to them.
Yeah.
So they just keep coming back.
The readers love it too. They want to see those people come back.
Yeah, so those are some of my probably more well-known series, these series, Mount trilogy, Savage trilogy. I wrote a lot of billionaire books for a while. I think there's something, magical about that. The Dirty series, Crate and Karis, we had a lot of fun with those. And in the last couple of years, I wrote a couple nonfiction books. I wrote a children's book.
Oh,
And yeah, with a tattoo artist who illustrated the children's book. It's about a hairless
neat.
cat. It's called
Yeah.
Beatrice.
I have a hairless cat.
Do you? Do you have a
Yeah.
Spanx?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I had a Spanx, he had a Spanx, and now you have a Spanx. So that's
Yeah.
just serendipity, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah. And that's
interesting.
my second one.
They're very cuddly, aren't they?
He is the biggest lover. I mean, I can't get rid of him. I just had surgery at the beginning of the month, and this poor guy, because I cannot have him sitting on me right now. It just hurts. Everything hurts. And so I keep pushing him away and pushing him away. He's so confused because normally he's on top of me all the time. And I feel bad. It's really starting to hurt my heart, because I keep pushing him away. And
Oh,
I
normally
know.
you could probably wear them like a scarf. They're so sturdy.
He's so hot and I'm in menopause and that kicks off the hot flash. I'm like, dude, you got to get away from me, dude.
Well, now I have hairless dogs instead of hairless cats. So
The gal that I got him from, she also bred hairless dogs. I didn't even know that was a thing.
yeah, I got my first one in 2004, Chinese crested hairless dog. They're amazing. Coolest breed ever. She was almost 16 and then we got another, and after she passed, we got another one. Except
Yeah.
for we got a hairy hairless this time and you would never know she was a hairless dog. She's so furry. She's like a show dog. So
Right?
she's like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We call her Portia with the good hair. She has the best hair in the whole house. But
What is that? So why is it still considered hairless? Because it was bred with a hairless dog and a hairy dog or
yeah, she's naked on her belly and stuff, but with the show dogs of that particular breed, they want them to have these long, luscious manes,
uh-huh.
whereas the true hairless kind of have a little shorter, not quite. They're the true hairless Chinese cresteds are usually kind of the ugliest dog competition winner or mixed with like a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
They're so ugly, they're cute, but I ended up with the most beautiful one I've ever seen. It was shocking, shocking to me too.
Yeah, the gal that I got my kitty from, those dogs were not attractive dogs. I was like, oh, what is
The
that?
puppies, they're the homeliest puppies you'll ever see. Everyone's like, oh, puppies are cute. You've not seen Chinese crested puppy.
Yeah.
Most of them aren't that cute.
Yeah.
But they're awesome and an amazing breed. So I'm very grateful to have them. They're like the dog in my heart, I swear.
Aw,
Yeah.
so sweet.
Hmm.
So what was that like writing a children's book after writing Hot Dirty Sex for so many years?
It was the easiest thing in the whole wide world. It took me about 10 minutes to write the first one.
Yeah.
If we could write books in 10 minutes, wouldn't that just be a miracle?
It would be.
I mean, maybe people are doing it with AI. I don't know. But with 10 minutes, it took me I just kind of heard this. I don't know if you get kind of like almost like a downloads of story information where something just hits you and the inspiration and it just flows.
Right.
That's what it was for me. And it was actually kind of a funny story because he was like, yeah, I can draw whatever. He's an amazing artist, incredible tattoo artist. And he's like, his lifetime dream was to illustrate a children's book. And I was like, well, dude, helping people's dreams come true is my jam. I'm here for that. Like I'm happy to do it. And I was asking him, what do you want to draw? And he's like, well, just come up with something and I'll draw it. And then he sent me a picture of his cat, Beatrice. And I was like, man. So one day I was in this very room and it just hit me. And I sat down and I wrote it and it was all rhymey and cute. And it was about how it's okay that Beatrice doesn't have hair. Like, weird's the best way to be. And I thought it
Right.
was a really good message for kids about, accepting yourself for who you are. You don't have to
Right.
be like anybody else. And I sent it to him, just to my handwritten, you know, uh,
Right.
piece of paper. And he's like, "Did you know it's my birthday?" I was like, "No way." So it was all kind of a serendipitous thing. It was really fun. It was fun working with him because honestly, the art took, it took like 10 months.
Right.
The book took 10 minutes. The art
Right.
took 10 months. And
Yeah.
he's just an extraordinary artist. So it was really fun to work with a collaborator, but so different, obviously, than writing romance.
Right. Right.
But
Wow.
I don't write romance by myself either. I mean, I do the actual typing by myself, but my husband and I actually we plot all the stories together. It's like totally a team sport for us.
Right. I was going to ask you that because I heard you saying we had a lot of fun with that. And I have written a lot of books with Angel Payne, and I was
Okay.
so long saying we. And so even at the, when I started doing stuff by myself, I would still say we, and it just was like a weird habit to get out of. But
Oh yeah, my husband, he's pretty instrumental in everything I do. I don't do anything without him. He's
how long have you guys been married?
5 years this year. We
Nice.
we've been together for about 8 years, 9 years now. We actually met at a book signing. He was a romance cover model, which
Oh, how funny.
was shocking to me. I wasn't in the market for a man, I'll tell you that much. I was
Right.
freshly divorced, not looking. And yeah, well, when opportunity comes knocking and a guy's like, "But you're the one," I mean, it's hard to say no. So it was,
Right. Right. And it sounds like you guys are just, made for each other. So that's
oh,
awesome.
it's epic. I'm pretty sure this is probably not our first lifetime together. I'm pretty sure we've done this before. He's my best friend and we do everything together.
I
I
love
mean,
that. Because I've been laid up, I've been diving into so many weird things. And that's been like I've been so into like mediums, and not psychics as much as mediums, and all this like time isn't really what you think it
time's
is.
faster
And that,
to
yeah,
man.
time is actually nothing. There's no, I'm just, my mind is in a whole different place right now. It's so funny. Like just when how am I this age and discovering just a whole new thing to think about? But yeah,
Oh,
I've been lost in that.
that's infinite realms, right? I fell headlong into my spiritual journey like 5 years ago. Again, how did I was I this old before I really discovered
Right,
this whole other world?
right,
It's been epic, and man, once that happens in your life, it kind of never goes back. I don't think you
right.
can be unchanged.
Yeah,
So
because it's just opening a whole it's like opening a door that, wow, how did I not think about this before? So it's been
right.
interesting. Yeah,
It is interesting. It's interesting to realize like that we know so little, honestly, and we're kind of believe that we know so much. But also when you spend a lot of time writing fiction, I feel like you live in your own little worlds and the outside world even stops being a thing.
right.
Yeah, then when you realize, time's not real, all this stuff, you're like,
There's so
whoa,
many other dimensions happening at the same time, and
it's
yeah, this whole conversation could get crazy, and my normal listeners or readers are gonna be like, "What? Are you on painkillers still?" I mean, yeah, that's what it seems like. But
I mean,
it's
I think it's valuable though to be open-minded and to know that we don't know everything and to keep an open mind and be open to miracles and things like that, right?
right,
You don't
right. And what
know.
it's so neat to think that everything is going at the same time, and even people that are no longer on the earth are still right here with you, and I don't know.
It's wild. I mean, I don't know if you've lost anybody. I lost my dad about 11 years ago and
I have
um,
not yet, thank
oh,
goodness, but it's coming
good.
because we're getting
Yeah.
older.
My dad, strangely enough, my rally car driver dad, he went out in a car accident. Which is funny, sort of not funny, haha, but his co-driver that he drove with for 40 years came and stayed at my house last summer on a road trip. And he's like, it was so funny when I was like, "Don't you think that's the way he would have rather gone out?" And he's like, "Absolutely." He's like, in a heartbeat. He was like, "No question. That was definitely the way
Well,
he would want to go." And I was like,
okay, Ken Block, who just passed like
yeah,
last year
my dad
in a
used to race Ken
snowmobile
Block.
accident. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad used to
How?
race Ken Block.
It's like, how, after everything that man did, was it a snowmobile?
Well, it's your day is your day, right? So your day is your day, but the means and like the way you go out isn't set. But your day
Right,
is your day. And it's like if you have to choose, I mean, I'd rather go big. You know, if you're going home,
right,
go big.
right.
But yeah, so it's been really interesting since my dad passed. My mom kind of started looking into mediums and things like that as well. And I've definitely had him visit me, and
Yeah.
I've had conversations with him, since he's passed. I'm pretty sure he's kind of one of my guardian angels now, which is
Right,
really kind of beautiful for everyone who's lost somebody. Just because the physical form isn't here, it doesn't mean they're gone. Like their
right,
love is still here. And I
right.
think that's so beautiful.
And the whole notion that, and this is not from a religious standpoint, it is exactly about energy not ever going anywhere, that you will be reunited with them when
Yes.
your energy changes form too. And so I'm like, the whole thing, it just makes me so happy to think that.
I think and again, not religious, because I'm not religious at all. I'm very
Neither am
spiritual,
I.
not religious. But Jesus said, wear the world like a light garment. And I think that's also one of those things where you're like, oh, because this isn't your only lifetime. This
Right,
isn't your only experience. After this,
right,
you're gonna go on to a new adventure. Like, yeah, we're all gonna die someday, big deal. But it's so cool to know that we're just gonna keep going on and on and on. I think that's so
right.
cool. It makes you feel better, I guess.
And we've already been other
Yes.
things.
Oh yeah, it's weird. I don't know if you've ever, maybe not since you started in this journey. And again, this conversation could get strange, but I've started like remembering past lives and things, which I think is so interesting. And
I don't have memory. The only thing I am damn sure of is that I died in a fire. I know it.
oh, I've been murdered several times. It's cool.
Because I have an irrational fear of it, and that's coming from somewhere. I'm sure of it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Have you had any fire incidents in this lifetime?
No, nothing.
God bless. I
Yeah.
hope so. But yeah, I'm sure it's entirely possible. There's children especially will remember. There's kids. There's tons of documented stories about kids that remember exactly how they died and who they were,
Or
and they find
when
out.
they were born, they remember the journey of being born. That one blew my mind. And it's a little kid. There's no way that they're making it up.
No, I
You know
mean,
what I mean? They're that young that they're not, their brain isn't that complicated yet to start, lying and, for attention or anything. And it's unbelievable.
reality is truly stranger than fiction. I mean,
Yeah.
as people who write fiction, there is no question. I don't know how many times you've heard a story and been like, this happens to me all the time. I'm like, I couldn't put that in a book. No one would believe it,
Right. Right.
right? No one will buy
Yeah.
that as a plot.
You always say, you can't make that shit up.
Mm-mm. No,
No.
fiction's tame compared to reality.
Right. Oh my gosh. So
Mhm.
that you mentioned earlier AI, and this is like a big, not topic, I'm going to say not argument. I don't know. It goes on and on in my household. And I am so obviously, as a creative person, like against it, because I think that's one of the greatest things about a person's brain is the creativity. And so why would we want to stifle that as a race and as a society? And so I just wonder, what are your thoughts on all that?
Oh yeah, this is something I read a lot of headlines and I've been following it pretty closely, and we talk about this a lot in my house. Well, one, I don't feel threatened by it, especially as a creative, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, people are just gonna be able to write books and spit them out. And I'm like, you can't do, a machine can't do what I can do.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the map of consciousness or Dr. David R. Hawkins. He was in,
Yes.
yeah. So, okay. So on the map of consciousness, AI, as far as AI could ever go, in my opinion, is 499, which is the height of reason and like rationality.
Right.
That's like why Einstein was a 499.
Right.
So, because without a divine connection, you can't get over 500 to 1,000. Like you can't, they can't have, I mean, at least I don't think so, that they could have love. But there's this whole argument, are they going to be sentient beings? What are
That's the thing. It
things?
will that,
Can they
transition
feel love?
happen?
Right. Like I don't know. But what I know is right now, they're scraping all the stuff off the internet, right? And half of the internet is fake or false, right? It's
Right.
not true. And it calibrates as not true. So you're feeding this machine and you're feeding it with all the like half truth, half not truth, which is really interesting to see the Department of Defense in their testing with it. It said it escalated conflicts like to nuclear war very quickly. So that would tell me it would stay under in the 400s on the map of consciousness, because in like that's the realm where you could create a nuclear bomb, right? You could create an atomic bomb and you could use it because you could be rationalizing both sides.
Right.
Whereas if you have any value of human life, or you have any love for humanity,
Right.
you're never going to go there,
Right.
right? Like you're going to try to do it for the highest good. So I think this is a very double-edged sword. I think it could be wonderful in some ways, where a lot of the drudgery and crap jobs that I don't think humans are necessarily here to perform,
Right.
it could give people, well, it could take away a lot of jobs. Society, I think, will be completely reshaped by it.
Right.
I think it's too far gone probably to stop it at this point. But I hope and pray every day for miracles and that humanity be uplifted for the highest good. And I would love it to see it be used as a tool for good. Um, but if you have a lot of evil geniuses behind it, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we might like need another avatar on the planet to cancel out all the negativity that could come from this. Or,
Right.
or maybe it'll bring humans together in a way that we've never been brought together before.
Right.
Because what do we have in common? Our humanity. And maybe that's what bridges the divide. And maybe that's what solves all these stupid conflicts of race and gender and all the just dumb shit that doesn't matter, basically, right?
Right. So if you take all of that stuff out because you're not having to be burdened by it anymore, what does that free your mind up for? And
Right. Your
yes.
divine connection to creativity, to innovation, to beauty, to art, to all these beautiful things, instead of, well, I pushed this button 70,000 times today, so this
Right.
machine will work. And I'm
Right.
not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there isn't. But I mean, I can see both sides, but I would pray it be used with love. I don't know if that's going to happen, but hey, I live out in the woods in the middle of nowhere for a reason.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes from here. Megan and I were talking about having grandkids, well, me having grandkids, and just thinking about all that, what's the world going to look like?
Well, there was another thing that Buddha said I thought was really brilliant. Or maybe it wasn't Buddha, it was one of the Indian sages. And he said, like, the world that you think exists doesn't even exist. So, like, just surrender the world to God and to karma, because what you think exists out there doesn't actually exist. It's just your perception of it, which isn't
Right.
real. So, yeah, I have no idea. I hope a lot of what we're being fed for the negative side is fear porn, right? I know there's a lot of people who profit off of us being
Right.
afraid and
Right.
fearful.
Yes.
And I'm going to keep
Government number one on the top of the list.
government mind control, right?
Right.
But
It's just like fear mongering to the absolute.
well, in the media, especially,
It's a
there's
great way to control people.
oh yeah. And if you can, well, and if you think about it again, going back to the map of consciousness, fear is like in the 100s. It's below the level of truth. People make really stupid decisions from fear,
Right.
very different decisions than you make from love. So I just keep choosing love and hoping for the best. But I also know, that's up to God and karma. And I mean, I don't think we would be the first civilization to completely destroy ourselves because of technology. I mean, if you believe in Atlantis, supposedly that's
Right.
what they did.
Right.
So I don't know. I think things could escalate quickly. I think it could change very fast. And I think society is in no way, shape, or form prepared for how fast things could move.
Right.
Just like we saw with the pandemic, it was sort of like bam, 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 almost like 2 weeks later, everything's closed. And everyone's like sitting here like, what just happened?
Well, and it's taken them to this point now, 4 years later,
Mhm.
where they're looking back and going, here's where we misstepped.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And
they couldn't react in time. It's taking 4 years to react. Here's what we should have done.
well, in humans, especially if you're doing anything by committee, or
Oh,
it's slow, right? It's
right.
slow, it's inaccurate. You have all these people's opinions and agendas and egos,
Ego. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Obviously I don't have a crystal ball.
You
But
don't.
I know, I wish I did. I'd be probably the richest
And
woman.
mark that down to get you as a thank you gift.
Oh, yeah, but it's just one of those things where I have no idea what's going to happen. I hope for the best, but I guess we're just going to wait and see, right? I've got my popcorn ready. I don't know.
Yep. Yep, I'm here for it. Let's go.
Well, and I would like
Let's,
to think that everything that happens is somehow, even if they mean it for evil, it can be used for good, right? Like that this is somehow going to evolve human consciousness in a way that's going to be beneficial for the future of humanity. I think it was Dr. Hawkins who said, what did he say? He said, war is actually really good for the evolution of consciousness because you never get closer to God than at the muzzle or barrel of a gun. And so, if all of a sudden you have the robots, which I don't know if we've even gotten to the robots. Have you seen the robot army? The dogs with flamethrowers, like
I have not seen that, but I've seen robots serving food in restaurants. Like it's happening. And this, I mean, we had a days long conversation in this house after that because it was like, oh my God, and we own a
you
business and we're like,
typically see it in person.
yeah,
Oh my gosh! Well, how was that? What was that like? Tell me.
it was bizarre and very accurate. Of course, you order your food and you get what you ordered, and it's very efficient and all of that. But where's the human experience? So,
Again, like maybe that'll be the thing that brings us together with like humanity. It crosses all those divides because at our heart, we're all equal, we're all the same, we're all human. But yeah, I saw an article last week. I think it was the Chinese military had rigged up machine guns on the back of robot dogs. And there's actually somebody in the US selling robot dogs with flamethrowers.
right.
Just like, so, all right.
Well, it makes perfect sense. Why would you not fortify your army with robots? Because
I mean, then
there'd be no casualties.
right. And then I come up with this dilemma. Like, you've got all this ammo, right? And I'm totally like, I'm not killing any humans. I'm done. I don't kill spiders. I don't kill bugs. I don't kill anything.
Right.
All living beings. But then you come to that ethical quandary that's like the moral quandary of, well, does that work for robots? Like, is it okay if I'm shooting robots? Like, if they're a sentient, like, these are the things I think about. Maybe that makes me
Right. Because at what point is it like you think, well, of course you can dismantle a robot if it's going to hurt you,
it
right?
can
But
put
then,
itself back together too and recharge.
right. And then if this AI becomes conscious, now
Mhm.
you're killing something.
Well, yeah, and I mean, sentient being means, it's aware that it's a being that it's aware. I don't know. I think the ethical and moral quandary, and maybe that even just having these discussions will be part of the advancement of human consciousness, which if that's kind of the goal on planet Earth, this season's going to be exciting.
Right. Right.
There's an old, I think it was like a Chinese curse, like may your life be, or may you live in exciting times. And I was like, oh dang.
That's funny. I mean, things just keep popping up, that like maybe if you had read it 10 years ago, it would have been one thing. And now today it's something completely different.
Just, yeah, you would think this was all science fiction.
Right.
And you're like, no, a robot served me food in a restaurant.
Yeah. And I also saw a robot in a grocery store doing just sweeping and, cleaning up and then it would talk to you. You could engage with it.
This is so
That
interesting.
was in Maryland, Megan. Have you seen that in a store anywhere?
No,
No, I was, oh,
I live in the woods, man. Oh, you're sorry, not
Yeah,
yet.
Megan lives in
yeah, I'm
Maryland,
in
and that's when I
Maryland.
saw it.
I have not. I was just thinking, where are you when you see all these things? I have not seen anything like that.
That the robot thing in the restaurant was in Irvine, and
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of what the store name was in Maryland because I'm not familiar with it. It wasn't like Kroger or Acme or something. It was something
Yeah.
else.
If you think of it, let me know. That's
Wegmans? No.
Wegmans. Yeah, there's a Wegmans. Yeah.
No. I'll have to ask my dad because that's right by their house, whatever it was. But yeah.
I heard,
Wow, that's
don't they
crazy.
they're delivering by drone too in like Texas. And then
Yeah.
I saw,
And in California. Yeah.
do they do that in California?
Yeah. Not where I live because I too live out in the woods, but it's
People
not no drones out here.
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
And I think in like Miami and bigger cities, they deliver food too, right? Like little roly robots and stuff.
I don't know. It's just getting crazier every time you hear something.
Kelly
Yeah,
said her daughter spent time in Japan and a lot of restaurants had AI servers.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's about to
it
be a
is,
whole new world, ladies.
it is happening. So
I mean,
crazy.
and when I was, in middle school getting AOL Instant Messenger for the first time, I didn't think this is where it was going.
Girl, I was like married when that shit came out. So
This is wild times, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah. I said to my husband the other day how lucky we are to
Mm,
have seen the changes that we've seen in our lifetime because they're extraordinary. From now, I had color TV when I was a kid, but
mhm.
like my parents saw the invention of a TV
Right.
to where we are now, just with technology, like in the home. So crazy. So crazy. Like the advancement and the pace that it's going at. I don't know if that can, I suppose it could sustain, because look what we're talking about. We're talking about artificial intelligence. So you like,
It's crazy. My husband and I talk about the same thing, how lucky we are to have been the last, like, pre-digital, the last analog generation,
right.
that we grew up, without cell phones. We grew up without that stuff. And so we got, we played outside. We didn't, there was no concern over our screen time. You were watching
Yeah.
TGIF,
Yeah.
like it wasn't, it was, I don't know, but everyone's born when they're meant to be born for a reason. I think, maybe to obtain the most spiritual growth or evolution of your consciousness possible. It's just a wild, wild world. I did not see this coming, but clearly a lot of people have been planning this for a long time. So
How do
hopefully they
you
have a plan.
how do you think technology affects spirituality?
Um, from what I've read, the closer you are to being enlightened, especially if you are enlightened, the less inclined you'll be to use anything that has more than an on or off switch. So I would say technology, I think at its core and at its heart, what technology really is mimicry of God, right? Artificial intelligence is trying to mimic the human intelligence in a machine. And everything, it's all copying nature. It's all copying God's creations or the creator's creations or source's creations or whatever you believe,
Right.
depending on semantics, the word doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right.
But
We'll call him God for this conversation.
yeah. So like I think everything that we're trying to do is trying to copy God. And I think that's the heart and soul of it. So I don't think you can do better than God did. I mean, it's God. Like that would
Right.
be I just don't think that there's any way that you outdo that. But it wouldn't exist. Also, I truly do believe it wouldn't exist unless God wanted it to exist.
Right. Right.
So I think it's here for potentially for our benefit and but also potentially, for our downfall. If you believe the earth is this kind of cosmic laboratory where you can undo negative karma and create good karma and somehow make up for these mistakes that you've made in the past and maybe, choose better this time so that your soul goes to a more heavenly realm because this clearly isn't a heavenly realm. Like earth has every option from the holiest to the most profane. So I think if you have to give people the option to do horrible things, otherwise, how are they going to make a better choice? So I don't know. I think that there's potential for huge abuse and misuse, but I think, if somebody can do all your work for you and you can spend time on your spiritual growth and
Right.
be meditating more and, more in a more prayerful setting and not have to worry about these mundane tasks, I could see how it could be beneficial.
Right.
That said, I don't have Alexa in my house and I never will.
Right.
Like I don't need I just it's just not part of what I want, in my life. I don't even own a TV.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm sort of on the opposite end of the techno spectrum. I don't,
Right.
wear smartwatches or smart devices.
Yeah.
I routinely threaten to go back to a flip phone. Like, I'm like, give me a dumb phone, guys. I don't want a smartphone.
Right. Right.
But yeah, what do you think? What do you think?
I keep thinking that the best thing that could come out of AI would be that it gives humans the times time and space to improve themselves and improve their relationships with one another.
Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful?
That's my big thing is about the way we treat each other and the way we treat the planet we live on.
Wouldn't it be beautiful they could use all that technology to, yeah, clean up the
It would,
pollution?
because like you're saying, if it could free up your time and your mental, you know, capacity to be fatigued, you could use that energy to do better.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think we make most of our learning as humans in relationships with others. And if we have that time and space to
And
really,
what is the most rewarding thing in daily life? It is interacting with others. For me,
absolutely,
I'll just say for me.
100%.
So,
People
yeah.
and animals, I mean, that's by far the most rewarding thing, by far. I'm
Yep.
100% with
So,
you there.
oh, Megan, this is getting crazy. Do you want to, do we have any questions? I have never
No,
had such a stimulating conversation with a guest, I don't
no,
think.
I know. We only have about 7 minutes, so I'm just going to ask a few. But
Okay.
yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you because this has been a great conversation, but I'll just pick a few questions.
Okay.
Um, Christina wants to know, Megan, what made you want to quit being a lawyer and become a writer?
Being a lawyer sucked. No, I actually really loved it for the first 3 or 4 years. And then firm politics became the reality. And I just am not built like that. I'm not built to play games. So it just stopped being fun. And for me, I believe in following your heart wherever it leads, even if it's to unlikely places. So I just went for it when the opportunity arose and I had books taking off and I could support myself. I was
Right.
out the door, man, as fast as I
Right.
could be.
Okay, let's see another one. Sorry, I can't even read my own writing. Okay, Kelly wants to know, Megan, I know your life has changed in the last 5 years, but do you plan to write romance books in the future as well as self-help books?
Yes, I do. I'm actually plotting a new duet right now with a character a lot of readers have been wanting to hear about for a long time, Rome Hennessy. So if you're a Beneath series fan or other of my books, Rome, I've been working on his story. And for me, I had to make sure that I could write romance and have it still be spiritually aligned. And that was the biggest thing for me. And I've since learned how much I really enjoy it and just, you know, I love it and I love telling stories and there's so much beauty in stories, so many lessons we can learn from fiction and not have to go through it personally, which I think
Right.
is awesome.
Right. Right. And how I think that at the core of everything that happens in your day is your loving relationships with
Yep.
people. And so there's so many there's so many directions that romance can go. The story doesn't always have to be the hot, dirty sex, which is great and fun and a great part of life.
Mhm.
But there's so many other things in our lives that have love at the core of it. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I
So,
think honestly, I think life is one great big love story, really. And maybe that's why romance is the top selling genre, right? That love, I mean, what are you here for if not for love? I mean, granted, there are people who hate love and don't want anything to do with it. And
but
I'm
now I'm
but
going to sound really crazy. What is hate? It's a
hate
twisted version of love.
and it's honestly it's like just a lack of love.
And so is fear.
Lack
Fear
of love.
is, afraid of being abandoned or losing love usually, or, I believe that every other emotion is actually love, like twisted or cloaked or so, it's just, it's all
Well,
about love.
I think it is like on the map of consciousness of Dr. Hawkins, he talks about because God is love. That's what God is at its core. Like whatever source, whatever, it's love. And the whole map of consciousness, all the way down to grief and hate and anger and all that, all it is one gradation of
Sure,
how much
because grief
love.
is the loss of love, right? I mean,
It all has
it's
to do
all
with love.
there. That's going to be my homework assignment for everyone, watching tonight. Think about that. Think of every emotion that you feel and how it is actually just love. Not
Yeah.
just, but it's love. And
Or a
so,
lack of love in some way. Like
right.
evil isn't the opposite of love. Evil just is the complete lack of love. So I'll
Or
just
misdirected or guided love, or,
right. It's crazy. This is a
yeah,
great conversation, by the
I
way. Thank
know this
you.
is great.
We'll put it on YouTube eventually. We'll tag you when it's up.
Oh, that's awesome. This has been so fun. If we have
Okay,
any,
this will be the last one. More people did ask questions, so maybe if you guys have time, you can pop in and see what they were. But this is for both of you. When you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? And if you weren't a writer, what would you do for a living?
ooh, actually, when I was a small child in elementary school, I did want to be a writer until life was like, you can't make any money at that. You can't do that. So I did want to be a writer. That was kind of my first thing. And if I weren't a writer, I would I would probably be selling moss and dirt and forest treasures and I'd probably just be living in the woods like a hermit. Oh wait, I am.
At a roadside stand.
Yeah, I that's probably what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
What about
I
you?
want I wanted to be originally a marine biologist, and then I don't know when that changed, and then I had a period of time I wanted to get into psychology, but yeah, that, and then I ended up being an air traffic controller. So I don't know what the
Really?
hell, what a twist.
Wow.
Yeah. And so now if I had like as an adult to decide a career, I would have been a doctor for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm very passionate about medicine and health and that sort of thing. So
I've been going deep into herbalism lately. I'm like obsessed. I love herbs and I love that I can go outside my door and I don't have to go 50 feet and there's like 10 medicinal herbs. And I'm like, this is amazing.
right.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, right?
Yeah,
We'll have to have Megan back for a part 2 at some point.
I'm here for it. This has been super fun. But if you have more
Yeah,
questions,
what a great day.
I'm willing to answer some more if you want to.
Do you want to do more or do we want to, what do you want to do, Megan? You want to do
I
giveaways?
have one more. Okay, I have one more highlighted here, but
Okay.
it's Megan, do you ever write about lawyers in any of your books?
I have it's ironically one's called Bad Judgment. And it's actually set in law school and it was based on my law school experience at Michigan State, which was super, super fun. The character's not based on it, just the setting and all that. And the book I'm working on now, the backstory of the heroine, she's a former lawyer. And I think my very first book, Flashbang, she was a lawyer too. So it's one of those things I think that reality, you always bleed into your fiction. Like if people knew me, like as a person, you can see me in every single book. I don't know about you too. Can you?
Right, yeah.
I've
Especially
seen.
when I started writing, people would say, "Oh my gosh, this character, I see you in her so much," or like because that's what for me is the easiest way to tap into a story is just, get into it myself or have little bits of it that were actually true and then just run away with it.
Oh yeah, and I think as an artist, all we're doing is self-expression, right? So you're going to end up somewhere in maybe in all the characters. I mean, I'm in my villains, in my heroes, in my heroines,
Sure.
little bits and pieces here and there.
Okay, one more question for Megan. Do you have any upcoming releases?
I don't have anything on the calendar right this moment. I'm just getting ready to start writing again. So I'll have a new duet coming whenever it comes, I guess. Yeah, I'm just kind of living footloose and fancy free at the moment. But
Nice.
there will be more, and I'm not done writing. I thought for a minute maybe I was, but like you said, love is at the heart of everything. And I mean, God's the ultimate storyteller, and I love to be a storyteller too. I mean, it's so fun and just being able to transport people away from their daily life if they need it. I don't know
Right.
about you, but I read solely romance for 25 years, only romance. And the number of days out of my life that a romance novel saved me, gave me that escape when I just couldn't handle life.
Right.
I'm grateful for that.
That's why I started writing because I started writing later, in life, and I read Twilight of all things. It was
Okay.
Twilight, and I was so taken out of the crap I was going through in my life. I read the series 5 times in a row, back to back. I just kept reading it because I did not want to go back to reality. I
Right?
just couldn't deal with it. And then I thought, I want to give someone that gift. I want to write stories that people can get lost in like that. And I mean, it, ended up being a whole other thing in my life. But
It does take on a life of its own. And same for me. I wanted to be able to give people the escape. And I mean, there's so much to be said for being present to every moment. And I think that's so important. But there are times when life is hard. Being human is hard.
Yeah.
And we all need that break sometimes to just check out and
Right.
and go somewhere that's happy. I can't tell you the number of emails and letters I've gotten from people that are like, I found your books at my darkest moment. I was
Right.
thinking of committing suicide or like these things. And it was the light in the dark that kept me going. I'm
Right.
like, well, if that's not fulfilling, like, I don't know what is.
Right. I agree with that 100%.
Oh, Christina said books are an amazing escape. It's my favorite home away from home. I love that.
Oh,
That's so nice. Okay, there are people who are saying, Megan, you're new to them, so they can't wait to check out your books. But I just want to let everyone know we will post Megan's information, your group, your website, whatever you want. We'll post it so people can find you. But I know, Megan, we talked about your awesome giveaway, but Victoria, what are you giving away tonight?
I have Accepting Agatha and Mentoring May, the first two in the Brentwood Bombshells. And Shepherd is done, and I'm writing Clemson right now. So
So exciting. Okay,
I
and
for,
yeah,
oh,
Megan.
do I need to tell you what my giveaway is? Okay. I've got a $50 gift certificate to my merch store, Meghan March merch. So it'll be digital. Whoever wins, we'll email it to you as soon as we have your email address. You can go on Meghan March merch. There's tons of cool, there's books, or well, yeah, you can get ebooks, you can get merch, you can get stickers, you can get all sorts of stuff. Whatever floats your boat, you
we've
pick.
never had someone do that before. I like that. That's a good idea.
Hey, the
I
world's
love
your oyster.
Megan March merch. That's so fun to say.
megamarchmerch.com. Oh, and for anyone who's wondering where to start, I know I'm going to have a freebie coming up really soon. Ruthless King's going to be free, I think, starting like, well, actually, it's on free probably everywhere except for Amazon right now. It'll be free on Amazon probably next week. I think either Beneath This Mask might be free or Dirty Billionaire. Beneath This Mask is a great place to start if you want to dive in, or Ruthless King, or Dirty Billionaire. Those are all good series starter, depending on your heat level. Beneath This Mask is probably the tamest. Ruthless King, Dirty Billionaire are, as you would expect, quite a bit spicier. And if you're into self-help, Creative Rebel's Guide to Winning the Game of Life. And if you want to write a book, I wrote one called A Creative Rebel's Guide to Writing Amazing Fiction that I spilled every secret I have ever had on how to write incredible books that hit, over 50 bestseller lists and sold over 5 million copies. So
Nice.
have at it, guys. If this is your dream, go for it.
Right.
Mhm.
Amazing. Okay, the winner for Victoria is Lorraine Doherty. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And for Megan, it's Shell. So Amy will be in touch with both of you, and then she'll get you, Megan, the email address for Shell.
Sweet. Shell, Mandy, my maven of all things, Mandy will send you a gift certificate, and we can't wait to see what you pick from Mega March merch.
This has
Nice.
been so much fun. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
hearing
what a
your
pleasure
conversation.
chatting with you. Thank you
Ah,
so much for coming.
yeah, this was a blast. Thank you for inviting me. This is just super fun. Yeah, if you ever want to do it again, just hit me up.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank
All
you,
right.
ladies.
Have a great Memorial Day, everyone. We'll be
Yes,
back
thank you,
next
everyone.
month. Bye.
Bye. See you next
Bye.
month.